Join Dalton and Jacob as they discuss the ever-changing world of trading card games. TCG Buzz starts now.
What's up, Buzz Squad? It's your boy Dalton, back at it again with somebody different. It's not Jacob. I know some of you were waiting for Jacob. I know. But we have Darien today.
Hi, guys.
It's gonna be a good stream. I hope. And remember, we do have Super Chat. So if you want to influence us to go to Atlanta or some type of regional that we possibly will go to, it's there for you. So Darien, before I so rudely interrupted you,
Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
I don't remember, but I'm going to reiterate on the super chat. I'm a little under the weather. I'm not going to dab and floss today.
Oof.
Unless those super chats are real strong.
Oh, okay. I see. So today, we're going to be talking about, as you saw by the thumbnail, Bakugan. Darien's going to be so hyped for this. I know he is, even though he's sick.
I don't know if it's sick. I just been having the nastiest sinus problems.
I see.
But this live stream isn't about me. It's about Bakugan and our opinions and whatever and what do we think Bakugan's fate is going to be.
So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't really prep for this. I know Darien did, somewhat. But I feel like I'm a pretty good off-the-dome type of guy, and I can get things rolling. So Darien, I know this is your first major stream, even though you've been on the last stream, but you didn't really have to do much.
Ridiculous.
You didn't have to do much. So I'm going to let you take lead and kind of do all of that.
Give me a first question. I'm a little bit.
All right. So let's talk about, is it going to be a one and done thing, or is it going to be here forever?
I feel like it's gonna have. I don't know. It's very early still, but I'm really thinking that when it comes to looking at the old series and it being not very TCG heavy and it being having a fairly strong anime. It has, the figures are here. The figures are pretty good. The toy part is good. The trading cards are okay. I mean, they're like Pokemon card stock, so they're.
I would say more like ability cards from the first series, but yeah, Pokemon, I guess, too.
The game is actually fairly fun. It has its place. There definitely is a market because being able to collect, these little dudes, pretty fun. This is actually my favorite, Garganoid, but yeah, Jacob, you're saying that you wish that the figures were a bit higher quality. They feel like they're pretty cheap plastic compared to the old ones, but they are a lot more intricate, which they just need to figure out balancing and releasing the comprehensive rules, because a lot of people are being turned off from the fact that they don't know timings yet. I've been in a lot of Facebook groups and people are like, I give up because nobody can agree on rules, on timings, and what does this card's effect do? Like Dalton and I had a couple of matches just trying the game out, and we were playing a hero. I wanted to play a hero card, and he had a card that basically says it was
negate the hero card.
Yeah, negate the hero card, or negate the effect.
It doesn't say effect. It just says negate hero card. So let's kind of bring it down. It's kind of having this issue of Luck and Logic that Luck and Logic had when it first came out. If it ever gets rebooted, I hope it does. Where there's very little on the rules, but there's a huge demand, I would say, for it, and a boatload of questions on rulings, timings, and all these things that obviously I haven't tried to bring up any questions to Spin Master or things like that. I don't know if people have to see if they can get something out of Spin Master. So that could be remedied in the next few weeks because it's only like what? For us, it's been maybe a week, kind of ish. We've been opening up product for probably a week.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So I'd say that on that aspect, it's probably a little too early. But if this is still going on, let's say like a month from now, then we might have to revisit the issue and be like, Spin Master, what's up? Like, this is a little painful here. But on the quality of the balls, I don't mind them. I kind of suspected it, I guess. I'm like, you can only do so much for something like this, a foldable ball, in a sense. So you're eventually going to have to cheap out on certain things, especially since they wanted to increase the quality in the springs and making everything kind of pop out necessarily, unlike the original.
Also, there's a lot more moving parts.
There's that too.
But with cheaper plastic or a cheaper feeling plastic, you can definitely get a much more grippable surface, which I do like. How grippy they feel. Like the corners are a little sharp on some of them, but a little tiny bit of sandpaper, if you're really bothered by it,
oh no,
can fix it.
I'm being quoted for quality of balls. Oh no, I knew this was going to happen.
Oh, and also people are boiling their Bakugan so that they fit more flush.
So kind of like a mouth guard thing. If anybody played a sport that requires a mouth guard, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I remember my brother in high school when he wrestled, he used to boil his mouth guards.
Let's get that form fit, form fit.
So this is a sport now. Like, this is a literal sport. You boil it so it fits your clinch of your hand.
Oh. Please don't. All right, so I guess I'll kind of keep this there because I feel like I could get some questions asked and so forth, unless people have questions about it in chat that we could answer.
I actually saw in one of the Discord servers that I am in for Bakugan, and there's conflicting issues with some of the rulings and how they're worded.
I'm going to actually answer that real quick because our lovely friend Roxas put into chat that Spin Masters is working on a Discord server with a Q&A on this type of issue. So it could be remedied a lot faster than we think. So we might not have to talk about it for that long.
Hopefully. They just need to release one of those thick, like, when you go into like a local game store or some of them, and then they have those really thick Vanguard manuals a lot of time, because I feel like that's the only TCG that ever really got those thick manuals.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Like, they're like free reading material.
If you know what Darien is talking about, please let me know, because I have no idea what he's talking about. Let's see here. What should be the next question? Since we're kind of talking about card games here, why don't we talk about the cards themselves and how we kind of feel about them? I know you have your deck here. I don't. Mine's in my binder because it's back in reworking sessions. So let's see here. Actually, I'm going to make it a lot easier for you so we don't have to worry about your fancier cards.
Unsleeving, resleeving.
So we have a Bakugan card here.
Dragon's Fury.
Looks pretty nice, Is a rare, but my initial complaint when I opened up one of these packs, or actually when Darien opened up his packs because he got his first, was the fact that it's kind of very cheap cardstock.
The edges are cut really bad.
Yes,
they're rough.
Some of them you can tell that they're a little disproportionate. I don't know if you can see that they're not too fairly balanced on the sides.
Jacob just donated $2. Thanks, man.
Oh, needs more, Jacob? Got you. I'll be right back.
So as he runs away to get something, I would like to talk about longevity.
So we have the best Jacob here on the channel, making his comeback. He's been a little shy. He felt like he needed to get like a haircut or something like that, get a little makeover. But we have the one, the only, Paper Jacob. How you doing, buddy? He doesn't talk.
I know.
That's the best part about him. So there you go. More Jacob right there. Longevity. So longevity. So what about longevity do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about, how our...
Switch to yourself, by the way. You're just like Jacob.
Sorry. So I want to talk about, how is this game going to work? Are we going to have it so that cards are phased out, like we're going to have set rotations? Are we going to have it where, like, we have balls, we put money into our balls, and we lose out on money if they decide that they're going to power creep us? So are they going to end up making it so, say, I have this Aquas Fangzor.
Well, on that note, for that specific issue that you have on the whole power creeping of your spheres, I'm going to divert from saying the other word.
I want my balls to be powerful.
I don't think that's going to be an issue for the TCG, per se. Maybe for the actual toy game it might be, but I'm pretty sure they still use the character cards. So with the character cards, that's where the power creep will be, and that's what you really care for. So in that sense, you don't have to worry about it. If they all of a sudden decide to like revamp certain Bakugan, so say Garganoid all of a sudden gets a buff or something like that. So that's where I think it's going to be reflected. So you can, in a sense, ignore the printed B power. But then again, you never know. They might just call it a new Garganoid. You have your, Garganoid Titanium.
Or they just have like the Maxis Dragonoid kind of crap, but that's where the Evos come in.
Yes, that's where Evos come in.
Maybe that's where all the power creep's going to be, is in the Evo cards.
Which is a highly possible thing as well. Which is also a neat mechanic as well, kind of evolving your Bakugan. It's kind of what you kind of get the same vibe with trying to think of the deck. I guess Shadow Dragons on that regard, where it goes from a size 0, 1, 2, 3, or no, I'm so stupid. I should have said the most obvious of one, Max Dragons, where it goes 3 to 6. Kind of in that aspect where it like you want to evolve it to get it stronger, but there's also countermeasures as well in the game already. And then, like, longevity of cards, who knows? We are in a different time period where people tend to take better care of their cards, so card stock might not be an issue as well.
You just, put your cards in a card sleeve. I don't know anybody that plays trading card games without card sleeves, to be honest.
I do that only if I don't have extras around, and if it was just kind of like throwing some baloney together. Anything in chat there, Darren? You're looking at it pretty intensely.
People are just talking about, bigger balls for bigger brawls, and bigger balls means more fun. See, the thing is with a card game, this is the one thing that got me so excited, is that this isn't very waifu-oriented card game. Where
I know, this was one of the most surprising things
it's an
about
anomaly. And people are like, oh, you can just, there's waifus. No, children aren't waifus. You're supposed to protect and, wait.
They're 11 guys. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta just make sure they're safe. They get on.
Unless they're talking about the parents, I haven't seen any of the parents, so
I don't really care, to be honest. But it's robot monsters. That's awesome.
Well, actually, they're not necessarily robots. They are monsters. I don't know if it specifies robot monsters on there.
So you wouldn't say that this is not robotic.
No, that could just be their definition of what a dragon looks like. Remember, dragons have plenty of art styles and just looks in themselves, so that easily could just be a type of dragon.
I mean, Chinese dragons are just basically long mustache worms.
Thought you were going to go with snakes, but I guess that works too. So what do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about how the game actually plays.
How it plays. All right. So of the few games that we have played, it wasn't too many or anything like that. It was during the last Buddy Fight release, because Dalton needed cards. We were playing it. My deck was, at the time, a Domination flow deck.
I need to shut something down in chat really quick. It's getting a little kind of creepy and gross, and I don't like this. Saying no, 11-year-old waifus, like period after every one of them, and then yes to 12-year-old waifus. No, 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 no.
We condone the legal age of American waifus, so they must be 18 or older. Thank you.
And I endorse this message.
So snap! I forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about games that we've played. So we played a few games. Obviously, we had a few ruling issues. Yada yada yada. Doesn't really matter. But one thing that I did notice, because I was playing a Domination flow deck, yes, white, blue, and Darien was playing. Was it tricolor? Were you playing a tricolor deck?
Yes, I was playing tricolor. I was playing.
He was playing low cost aggro. That's what we're officially dubbing it.
Yeah, I was running Chaos, Darkus, and Pyrus.
Yes. Or AKA Titanoid decks the base set Charizard deck.
With some Nilius Spice.
So on that front, games only lasted like 2, maybe 4 turns. Like a little concerning.
40 cards. Not enough, unless like you're like I'm thinking with deck balancing, especially with a deck like Dalton's, a lot more halt cards would probably
like 0 cost flip cards or something like that, something to that nature. Because I was kind of running a little bit more, I guess, higher costed ones, but not too high cost because they're only
I was
4
hardly
cost.
needing flip cards at all to stop damage.
That's true, but you also won most of them.
I mean, that's because base set Charizard.
Base set Charizard, baby. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe Spin Master might go back through the game, and maybe it was just the way I built my deck. I built it like an idiot or something like that. Then again, I did basically build your deck too, and I built yours to be low costed on all your action cards and proceed to do a lot of damage. And mine was more like, yeah, I'm going to wait. I'm more mid-range and,
Bakugan at this point is not the I'm going to wait to see what I can do later. It is I need to do what I need to do now or I'm going to die very early.
You know, I could probably rework the deck, obviously, but that doesn't really matter. Just based off that, we might have to try it with different decks to see if different deck combinations change the game, make it longer, something like that. But just with that, with an aggro deck and a more mid-rangey deck, it's quite obvious games aren't going to last that long. I know Spin Master plans on doing tournaments and so forth, which is going to be great for the game because it's going to keep people intrigued, kind of have like a goal in a sense to keep getting better instead of just like, I'm just going to collect these cards or just collect the toys or something like that. It kind of keeps them intrigued with the game.
And talking about tournaments now too, is I'd like to mention about the Spin Master distribution of the Bakugan kind of stuff and local game stores and the trouble that they're going to have for a while because they're only really going to toy hobby stores if they're really going to be like, if you're going to do any of that stuff. So if they really want to push Bakugan to be tournament ready and not have to depend on major box stores to buy it and then bring it to a local game store, because a local game store really does not have any business in doing anything with something that they don't sell.
Right.
Because it just takes up space for product they don't even care about, really. Unless, you know, somebody from a local game store ends up going to like a Walmart or a Target, buys a bunch of stock, and then brings it back and puts $2 to $3 more on top of it for profits, which not looking very good. But if they really want to, you know, get Bakugan into the tournament scene, they're going to have to really work with like small local game stores who don't specialize in like the toy hobby stuff and figures and stuff like that. They're gonna have to deal with the people who are strictly cards and stuff like that, because if you can't build a fan base right now, because right now it's still kind of difficult, but it is getting easier to find actual stock at big stores.
Mm-hmm.
Like where Jacob's at right now, he was able to actually find some in a store. I mean, Dalton and I went 30 minutes outside of where we were at to find some Bakugan, but it's still, you still have to travel to the bigger areas to find it. So, once the fad, which this is where I'm going to be pulling back onto, is the fad phase. When Bakugan becomes less of a fad, and the people who actually want to stick with it, like, the people that treated Pokemon Go, like, it was a fad, and then people were like, I'm bored with it. I don't really want to invest time in this anymore. Once we figure out when that simmers down and the scalpers kind of disappear,
Right.
I don't feel like scalpers are ever going to disappear as long as diamonds are a thing in the game.
It's a fair statement. And also, chat. This is TCG Buzz. This is not what is the legal consent of waifus, Buzz. So can we maybe get back on topic?
Bakugan, please. At least TCG, and not, legalities of waifus.
Or maybe Jacob will keep arguing with you in chat. Who knows? But
I thought I was the bad one about talking about waifus.
well, he's just arguing about ages and stuff, but it doesn't really matter.
18. It's America.
Okay, Uncle Sam. So, what were we talking about?
Oh, Jacob said that the fad thing hit Dragon Ball Super so hard. I mean,
Jacob. My boy, listen to me. It did not. It still goes on. It still goes strong. It had its rough patches, but it's smoothing it out now. So calm yourself. Swear sometimes he's deaf, too. Swear.
that's mean. Can't go that far. That's a little mean.
He says, don't blame me. I blamed you, all right? Deal with it. But now, accessibility, I guess we were talking about, and how it's a little harder, and they should try to work their way into mom and pop shops, or like our fabulous sponsor, Frost Giants Games, LLC. In those regards, kind of, even if it's just starting with their cards, that might make it a lot easier, But then again, I don't know all the legal issues with Bakugan and so forth, even though it's technically classified as a toy.
Yeah.
So it might keep
contracts.
it away from that. There's obviously a bunch of those things that we obviously do not know. We are not a toy manufacturer here that knows all the laws and so forth. I can just rattle them off for you.
I don't think it's a law kind of thing. I think it's just like
a simplistic thing.
Yeah, like it's being sold to like stores that sell toys kind of thing. Like you'd see it in a place that is kind of like a toy.
A more common area, I guess. Yeah.
Like your hobby shop that can sell you Legos and stuff like that, but don't specialize in Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards kind of hobby store. Because a TCG shop is basically just a hobby shop, and I mean, distributors need to stop classifying who can get what and what distributors are able to snag what. But Spin Masters definitely is not making this an easy one. And accessibility early on is going to make the people who are really psyched about playing the game a little more like on the fence. They're not going to care as much when they get stuff. They see stuff finally, and they're like, I really wish this was around a while back. But the thing, too, is that there's not much product released, really. There's like the lists of what Bakugan are out for this wave or whatever.
Well, which you have in front of you, too.
Yeah. Like, Let's see. I'm just gonna put my finger on different ones. I'm just gonna count which ones you can actually buy or are available. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 6 of.
Are you sure you're also counting attributes as well?
I don't really care. I'm just gonna say about what models.
Okay.
So we have 6 of 11 of the ultras available to us readily. Like, if you go somewhere, some places are actually getting the full line of 11 ultras. But I'm saying, like, right away, there's only really 6 of them available.
Easy access ones, I guess.
Yeah. And then for the cores, we have, 1, 2, 3.
Jacob.
5.
I appreciate the $2, my guy. But we're not turning into pedo watch Buzz here or whatever.
6 of 8 are available of the cores right now.
Oh no, I don't know what has happened to chat. Chat has gone to a completely different area. They're talking about traps and so forth, and
We're not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, no.
what?
Not those traps?
No, not those traps.
I'm trying to divert away from that, but I'm probably just making...
We're talking about traps, the archetype and buddy fight.
Guys, in chat, halt. Just halt. This is not good content, guys. Bakugan traps. Yes, let's talk about Bakugan traps for a minute. Do you think we're going to see anything like the Baku traps that we saw back in the original stuff?
With the way the game is set up right now and how it looks like, and if the game is successful and can last multiple years, I give it 2 to 3 years for them to implement something like traps, but not necessarily the traps that we got from the first, I shouldn't say season because it's technically the second season, the initial
Series.
Bakugan series. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
How I would see it is them implementing some sort of extra deck in a way, and you just search them out of an extra deck.
What is this? This is not Jacob's TED Talk. He's not even here. He's not even here.
I'm pretty sure you can't catch cancer, but I am getting it from this chat.
Whoa. We respect people's opinions.
No, I'm talking
if
about...
they want to follow Japanese laws and have the age of consent be 14, then...
13.
Oh, you're correcting them now. So it's 13. Age of consent is 13 in Japan. So be it. Happy for you.
I was trying to hold off so long on trying not to tell them what it was. But I had to just say it because you said it.
But let's come back. Let's forget about traps. Let's forget about age of consent. Let's come back. Come back to the Bakugan ways, the trading card ways. So, before we get more off topic by the chat, okay, stop looking at chat, Dalton. Just let Darien and Jacob deal with that. You don't got to worry about that. But back to Bakugan and how it goes. I think we kind of talked about most of it. If people were listening, I don't know. They seem too involved, as I could say. So let's talk about, from the very minimal amount of games we have played, what would you think is being done right? What's being done wrong? And what would you try to change for it? I'll let you start this off.
Okay, what I think they did right was the whole thing with different Bakugan, like the Ultras and different stuff, them being more violent on open. So that way you can, you're rolling at the same time. So if yours opens first, it has a chance to fling the other Bakugan away.
Okay.
So it does add kind of
Defensive
an extra
prowess.
battle measure, like an actual physical battle,
Right.
before you get to the intellectual battle of numbers. And then, thing that they did wrong, what I think that they've done wrong is some of the designs of the Bakugan just don't work as noted.
Like, give us an example. Give us an example.
I can give you a couple of examples.
Just one example works.
This guy right here.
Who's that, Maxitor?
You gotta really throw this guy for him to like flip. Like, this dude don't flip. He just kind of like stands on his head.
Okay, so what would be a good example of that, I guess, that would make it work better? Is that Garganoid that I see you pick up? Because I would say that's a pretty fantastic one.
I wish I could like show it off even more, but this dude actually flips.
And has a powerful spring in that tail.
And he can like, pow. Like, I actually watched a match on YouTube of somebody play, and like they used two Garganoids, and literally they backflipped at the same time at each other, and they both went flying off the table. Like, they were like out of here. Like, this is a gargoyle that flies. Like, it has wings, and it flew. Like, this is one of the designs that they did right. But some of the designs they've done really wrong. Like, I really like Mantanoid, wherever my Mantanoid went. I really, really like Mantanoid. I'm trying to find some
metal.
Like, I really like Mantanoid's design, but it kind of just flops over and lays on its back.
Okay.
So some of them, I feel like either they didn't manufacture them correctly, or you have to roll them so special that they will actually function as they're supposed to. But the weight of the cores, the Baku cores, whatever you want to call them, those are very good because like it doesn't really affect Garganoid's backflip, or it doesn't really add any problem to the ones that already can't flip, their ability to flip. But a lot of the stuff that they're doing wrong is just the sheer amount of Bakugan that need to flip over from their magnet positions to, like, I don't know how to describe it. And also, Hyder's Ultra just doesn't work either. It has a giant spring in it, but it still doesn't flip that good.
I think it just needs to get a rolling start. I don't think we've really tested that far into it.
Yeah, I did roll it a couple of times today before the stream, and I'm like, okay, it's about a 90% chance that it'll do it, but you gotta really ask for it. But Mantanoid and Maxitor, also manufacturing and the bubbles that they keep them in, not too good, because I've actually seen people open up Maxitor for an example, and they've ripped off legs that were in the packaging, like the leg that's stuck in the packaging. They've ripped it off, or it's pre-broken because the manufacturing is.
Let me see Maxitor. While you keep talking.
He's looking at Maxitor. Let's look at him. Look at Maxitor. Okay, we looked at him long enough looking at Maxitor. I think that the thing that I like the best right now is they're handling the cores a lot better, because they don't have any special gimmicks. They're much easier to close. Like, you don't have to wait around in a match for somebody to spend like 10-20 minutes to close a box. That's really exaggerating. But waiting for somebody to close up an Ultra, that's not that easy, because this Bakugan Mantanoid, like, I want to run 3 Mantanoids in a deck. Like, that's one of my goals, is to just make a Mantanoid deck, and then I'm going to fill it out with other insects that come along later. But like, this dude, I mean, it gets easier and easier the more you do it, but it's a little annoying. But then you have, Garganoid, which actually does work the way it has a lot of parts that actually lock in, but it's still a little tougher, and I feel like you'd end up breaking parts off of a lot of these ultras just because of how many intricate, thin parts you have. So that's going to turn a lot of people away. We'll talk about birds.
All right, so continuing on our good, the bad, and what would we fix? What would you
I
fix?
How packs are dealt.
Like, what do you mean by how packs are dealt?
Maybe give us one Baku core per booster pack.
Okay. Okay, kind of. I see where you're going with that, yeah. Okay.
Or make booster boxes available. And then maybe put box toppers of Baku cores.
Who knows? Maybe they're already planning that. Maybe we're just ahead of the game. You know,
Maybe the thing is they're noticing what people really want, and they might be listening, or they might just be doing this for just manufacturing and getting it out to like Target and Walmart, and I don't know who else is gonna have it. Meijer, maybe. 7-Eleven. I don't know. They might carry it. They have toys.
Okay. Okay.
So what would you say is the good, the bad, and the change?
Good. I do agree on the core Bakugan, which is the smaller ones, being, I'd say, better put together. And even though they're not designed to initially bounce or spring up or anything, a lot of them do anyway, which is a nice little feature. And I'm guessing they didn't intend for that. Another positive. Then again, it could just be first set printings of everything, because they had said that where the first set printings ratios might be a little messed up, but the ratios in boxes and so forth and packs seem quite nice. I do like the guaranteed hex in each pack.
Let's say not ratios, but the seating right now is really bad. Because there's different
I guess.
Seating, because seating can really change ratios up.
I guess.
Because there was in one day, I opened like 6 packs, or no, it was like 5, 6, 7. I opened 8 packs in one day, and I got 2 Dan Kuzos.
See, and that might not even be seedings, because that could still be ratios.
And they were from different places. One was like
exactly.
One was
so,
stuff
who
from
knows?
Texas. And other stuff was from
yes,
Wisconsin.
Yes,
Northeast Wisconsin.
Because who knows? Maybe in a box you only get maybe say 3 Bakugan Elites, and one of them has a chance to be hexed. That might be what the ratios are, and so forth.
I just want some alternate art cards.
Too soon. You gotta wait.
Yeah, it's not big enough, and nobody cares yet.
Gotta wait. Bad card stock, but then again, eventually card stock always gets worse. So I guess getting my expectations super low, I won't be disappointed in later sets, because they should, in theory, be the same stock, because it seems like a cheaper stock. Or
they could just find a happy medium, like they're just getting this stuff out to see if it'll work with the masses. And then once they're like, it works, so let's just boost our quality just a bit. It's not going to be much better, but let's make sure cards are cut right and, stuff like that. And the card stock, I have a feeling that it's meant to be destroyed. So this is stuff to sit on, 8-year-old Jimmy's bedroom floor, and, he steps on it.
Okay.
On his cards.
Okay.
They're not meant to be high quality card stock, so yeah.
Other bad, which is more towards the TCG, I guess, is maybe the powering of some cards. Like Titan Dragonoid seems a little too OP, if you ask me.
Set down Dankuzo, get a plus
2,000.
Yeah.
Like, not many people can compete with 3,000, because it's a base of 1,000 for Titan Dragonoid, if you remember offhand.
What was that?
Titan Dragonoid's base power, B power. Is it 1,000?
I can. Yeah, its B power is 1,000, so it can be
So, yeah.
boosted all the way to 3,000, and it has 6 base attack, like base damage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So just on that alone, it's like
and it's only a 5-cost card. But to meet its true potential, you have to have a Dankuzo.
so in a sense it's 9, but it's really a 2-turn combo. But
So
coming back to not even, it's really a 1-card 2-card combo. But
Dankuzo's
coming back,
yes.
yes, it's 4. But coming back onto that aspect, I feel either more Bakugan need to get a relationship type deal, like how Dan and Drago work. Maybe we will get that. Maybe with Pegatrix and why did I go with her? I know I can't remember her name to save my life. Come on, Darien. Come on.
I haven't watched the anime.
Fine. We'll go Trox and Winston. Not Winston. It's
The gorilla?
No, the guy.
Winton?
Yeah, Winton. There we go.
Winton Styles, whatever his name is.
And Winton Styles and Trox. Maybe they get something like that. Something to kind of combat that type of thing. And who knows, maybe they'll evolve the game to where Titans are probably like, let's say, the final form in a sense of
Yeah.
cards where
Also, the card Syndius, I feel like we're going to see that Bakugan getting a relationship because it's also one of Dan's mains. And I have a feeling that the game's going to break really bad.
no, I don't think those will. I think in a sense, Ace Bakugan are the ones that are going to get it. So you might get a Mantanoid. Just saying. With one of either
Mantanoid?
either it's going to be with A, B, C, D, E. I know you were kind of surprised when I told you that they all run Mantanoids. So maybe they'll do something like that, kind of balance it out that way. Maybe make it you can only run one Titan type thing. I don't know. But what I would fix, just based off of the few games we've played, maybe increasing deck size. Maybe increasing it
Yeah.
50, something like that. I don't know, maybe we will mess around with it, because obviously you can't be like, oh, you can run a 40 to 60 card deck, because then that's too OP. People are gonna be like, well, why would I ever run 40 or 50 if I should be running 60? Then I have more health in that sense. Then again, I think we should probably do some experimenting, maybe bump up decks to 50 and 60 just to see if it becomes more cancerous in that sense. So 40 is the best way to do it.
Yeah,
Or
'cause, like these people, they play test it. They make sure that, they test the card game. They probably have gone through the motions and probably figured out, this is probably where it sits the best. But it's always kind of fun to see if the card game is jank or not with more cards.
Right.
But you also think that the cards are balanced for 40 cards.
There's that too.
So
It's going to come down to testing, and we will let you know whenever we get that testing done if maybe they should bump it up to 50 or 60 or
I like
keep
to
it.
say to Jacob, he says that the art on the cards is also pretty generic. So is it like Y Schwartz generic, or is it like stockphotos.com generic?
Where else? I saw something else in chat too. Yes, I do agree. Dan's old design is a million times better than what it is now. New
It looks like
Dan
a little edgy, like
doesn't look edgy.
he's got like that Game Grump dude, like streak in his hair, whatever his name is, Aaron. No,
Oh, it's Dan. I don't think that really matters, but I guess in a sense, because I can't remember what their ages were from the original series, but Dan also grew, I guess, and I guess they were also going towards more of a preteen group / teen group instead of where there's still more advertising towards 6-year-olds. So I guess easier on the eyes, something like that.
but the real question though about Bakugan is, okay, so Zoobles and Bakugan were out the same
Oh
time.
God, no! Please Stop. No. Stop. No.
Zoobles
No. No.
didn't have
No.
a name.
No.
They were
No.
Gorgons.
No. No.
So
I will go and disconnect your mic.
Zooble
You better stop.
turned into Hatchimals.
Stop.
So they brought Bakugan back. No, Dalton, no. You're gonna kill everyone's ears.
You better not go. You better not go with it.
Hatch-
Wow. You don't deal with that crap here. You bum.
I really think Hatchimal support should be supported.
I have a pen. I'm gonna.
Oh God, no. Oh, no.
Listen to chat. When I say no, that means stop.
I had to go there.
No.
What other Spin Master games could be introduced into this game? It'd be easier on manufacturing.
No, don't do that.
Zoop.
'Cause if that happens, instantly game dead. My opinion. If it doesn't die, that's a different thing. But
If you guys
I
want
will
to
jump
get a
out.
hold of Zoobles and
No,
do like
no.
OG Bakugan matches with Zoobles in the place of Bakugan, just let us know. Look this up. Zoobles. Dalton walked out on me. Can't do this anymore. But I'm all by myself now. So I can't do this. Can we just drop it about waifus for a minute? Bakugan is like the least waifu-y thing. But in other words, so we were talking about what could be improved, blah blah blah, whatever. He's coming back. He just needed a little bit of time away from me. I think he's gonna explode, so he made sure that if he exploded, it would not be on camera.
you done?
I got my little spurt of Zoobles out of me.
You done?
I'd never even seen a Zooble.
You done?
I'm done.
All right. All right. So let's see what chat's on.
They're back on waifus again, thanks to Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob. You're a fantastic guy. I think if we keep talking about this, you're just gonna get back on that baloney topic of whatever and whatever's
Let's
with
not even
Bakugan.
mention it.
Exactly. Let's kind of give our final thoughts, I guess.
Favorite Bakugan?
Whoa. I didn't say favorites. I said final thoughts, as in, where do you see this game in 5 years? Let me finish.
Okay.
How do you think the meta is going to change? Because as of right now, I see it being completely aggro, running wild.
Mm-hmm.
Third, what is one major thing you wish that they decide to implement into it? If it was from the old series or something that you wish the old series did.
Okay, so my attention span isn't that great. I just realized that right now. So I'm going to start with what I'd like to see them implement would be bringing back OG Bakugan designs and retooling them to work with this game.
Okay.
So, you get classic Dragonoid. You get, Tentaclear. That one's way too simple. You get, your old Bakugan designs retooled for the new game. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Where do you see the game in 5 years?
This is a really hard test. I don't see. I don't know. Let's see. In 5 years, I see it not being existing if they don't do anything about fixing the local game store issue. But if they actually got into local game stores, I feel like this would be like, I'm trying to think of another figure-based game that people play, but not like a card game, but another figure-based game. What's that one that people get together with in like Catan or something like that?
What?
I don't know. What's one of those ones with the figures? There's like those board game things that you get and you like make stats and crap for your stuff and like
D&D?
no. It's like a tabletop RPG with figures and there's a board and this could be like the next one where a small niche group likes it and
That sounds like D&D. There might be other types of things like D&D, but D&D is a tabletop RPG. So, if you guys know the exact game he's talking about, so let us know in chat.
yeah.
Warhammer 40K, there we go.
Okay, yeah, that works. Could be like another one of those where, you know, it's trading cardy, but it has like that tabletop feel of being like okay, but I don't know. This is kind of like the cockfighting of TCG games.
You ready for the third one?
Yeah.
Where do you see the meta evolving into?
If this aggro stuff goes, I feel like a lot of people are going to be running very flip heavy decks, and Darkus is going to become very important with the black hole card and just ending the turn. But then
Black hole, man.
nobody gets to recharge energy. But I feel like, if you're able to, that's going to probably be a real hate card for the meta.
Okay. So in 5 years, I'm also assuming the game will still be around. I feel like it will be kind of bouncing back and forth between a aggro to wall type design deck game, I guess. Nothing too extraordinary. Where I see the meta going from here is kind of going into a low-cost defensive deck to combat the low-cost aggro deck to kind of keep everything balanced in that regard. And then what I would like them to implement would not necessarily be traps. I would actually argue for the battle gear, if you remember that. They're kind of like traps. They kind of have weird designs, but I feel like that would be a pretty cool little thing to add into it.
I could see it like in a way just kind of being like equip cards along with.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because like putting them on a Bakugan would not really make sense unless they kind of retool it where you like roll them onto or like your opponent chooses where it puts. I don't know. But like I'd see that more as like equip cards in an extra deck kind of thing.
Yeah, it'd be something on that nature or something like that. Who knows? But now you brought up extra deck. Do you want to see Bakugan get an extra deck, or do you want them to stay the hell away from that?
As long as extra deck is not used for health.
Well, of course it can't because it's a completely different entity.
Yeah. I'd have to feel like it would have to be very limited. Like maybe pull like your extra deck can only be like 6 cards, kind of thing.
Well, that's not what I'm really trying to go at. Like how many cards will be in it, type deal. I'm talking about like, would it be cool to see an extra deck of sorts be implemented into the game, or do you want them to make sure they never dare touch an extra deck and never try to become Yu-Gi-Oh?
As long as it doesn't do Buddy Fights Lost World shenanigans.
Fair. Very fair.
That would also mean that you'd have to have like 6 Bakugan so that you can switch over to your extra deck Bakugan. But then your extra deck...
Well, I was kind of... Because you brought it up with the whole battle gear thing, so it would kind of, I guess, roll with the battle gear. If you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, before we completely close this out, let's go over to chat as long as they're talking Bakugan and card games and so forth, and maybe super chatting us up, because they want to see us go to a tournament or something.
I'm seeing a lot of Ultra Blaze saying like, all right, in chat, let's see. Come on. I see in chat, Ultra Blaze is like, hey, stay away from that. Don't do extra deck. Lost World. Wait, Ultra Blaze 95. Do you play Buddy Fight? This is directly towards you. But
It's I don't have that deck with me.
so basically what Buddy Fight, if you haven't played Buddy Fight and you're just here for the Bakugan, Buddy Fight, you have flags to basically dictate what you can play in your deck, which you can play generics and say there's like Hero World or Danger World. You can only have cards from that world. Quiet, Roxas.
Roxas, this is not just a Bakugan channel. This is a trading card game channel.
So the thing with it is basically with the Buddy Fight,
He's saying, what is wrong with Lost World?
basically just trading decks. Like, I don't like the whole...
I think where Dan's more going with it, not the whole trading of decks thing, is the whole... It kind of makes certain decks tier 0, and it has a lot of busted cards that shouldn't be a thing, in my opinion. And trust me, I have a Lost World deck.
Like, one of the things that I saw, and I was doing some research, somebody had, like, a tier, like, the crappiest deck, and all it was to do, like, all the deck was doing is gauge, just gauge, get yourself a ton of gauge. And then when you're about to deck out, or whatever, you swap over to Lost World, you have a new deck, and you have basically a full deck's worth of gauge sitting next to you.
Which is funny, because Lost World, as of this moment, doesn't use a terrible amount of gauge either.
Which, I mean, I know that, but I saw the person basically show you don't have to have a good deck to run Lost World. You build a Lost World deck once, and then you say, oh, I'm going to go to a tournament, and I'm going to run something, and just be like, hey, look at me. I'm running mummies from 2 years ago. I mean, the deck is still kind of good still. No. But you could bring a meme deck into a tournament and then say, I'm just going to throw Lost World on the table and just scoop and make a scoop. I mean, Lost World's not really that good to make people scoop, but
Fair.
it's annoying.
Fair.
It doesn't really diversify the card game when everybody's running Lost World.
But now I got a question for chat. What would you like to see Spin Master do with Bakugan, the card game aspect of it? Would you like them to see, let's say here, kind of limit Titans of sort, or cards like Titan Dragonoid to kind of be like a, you can only run one in the deck type deal, or things like that? Yeah, something like that. Or I guess the best way to say it is, what would you like to see them implement or add to the game or add to the rules? So take it away, chat. Anything popping up so far? I know it has only been like maybe...
All right, so Apes of Spades Games is saying, I want to see Battle Gear return. It was a cool way to give abilities.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I can kind of go back onto Battle Gear and Baku Cores, because Baku Cores are kind of like the Battle Gear in a way, because they do give you boosts, and they do, they can take stuff away. So, in a way, it's kind of like it attaches to them, and it's like their Baku Gear. I don't know. Hey.
I see they want them to launch it in Europe already. I agree, it should be launched everywhere.
Yeah, it should be everywhere, but manufacturing does cost quite a bit. And shut up about mats. I play mats. So It's not that.
Darren, stop. Just stop. Stop trying to bring your deck into this. Ooh, limiting the amount of flip cards in a deck. That would be an interesting little mechanic there.
16.
Oddly specific. It seems like you've been thinking about this a lot. Do you want to elaborate on that?
16 is less than half the deck.
Okay.
So that means that you have less than a 50% chance.
Fair enough.
Damage.
Fair enough. Let's see. There was another one. Ultra Blaze 95 says they want them to be careful and not to overpower creep and hopefully not get the game too expensive, if that makes sense. Like product.
Yeah,
too
that
expensive.
makes sense. I just had a thing come off of that. Maybe you know how card games usually like their gimmick is like they have to always outdo the last set that came out, and that's where your power creep comes from. So with the instead of having a power creep, the way that they could outdo themselves with Bakugan, they could just make the gimmicks of the actual Bakugan different. Like you know how you have Garganoid so good at backflipping, you could just have another card that is designed to try to say take Baku cores off of your opponent. So say like your opponent stands or has a
like an anti-domination type thing here, kind of like a reverse consort, where consort adds a Bakucore to your Bakugan, have it be like take a Bakucore off of your opponent's Bakugan type deal.
No, I'm talking about physical. Like it actually has parts on it that move to like smack other Bakugan, so that it creates more of a you're not having that, so you don't have to play cards. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, ideas design-wise could definitely change, like, a power creep into more of a... I don't know. I don't know if that would really work, because then everybody be running those.
Exactly.
So, in a way, you'd have to make it so that those ones would only be able to... You'd only be able to run, like, one, and, like, ultras would all... Like, thered be 3 subgroups, and you could only run, like, one of, say, like, call them, like, attackers or something like that. You can only run one...
Okay.
So that, you can run ultras and core Bakugan at any ratios you want. You can run 2 ultras and 1 core, 3 cores, 3 ultras. You can do whatever.
Okay. So, Bladebreaker Gamer X asks, what are our thoughts on dual typing Bakugan? You see, there's only one person to do it right. I can't remember his name. It's a Bakugan. The whole color swapping. You know who I'm talking about.
Are you talking about translucent Bakugan?
No. I'm talking about the one who has the spinning dial in his chest.
Preyas?
Yes, Preyas. There we go. Preyas. There's only one that can ever do it, and it should only be a gimmick for one Bakugan. I don't think Bakugan shouldn't since be dual typed. I think that would kind of mess a lot of things up unless you're trying to run like 6 factions, right? Really 5. So if you want to run all factions, I kind of see where you want to go with it, but then you only have 40 cards to work with, so you're going to be really constricted.
Yeah, I'm finding the best way to build decks is to focus mostly on one faction and then use the other 2 factions or another faction if you're running, Aurelius. But if you're running 2 factions, you use them to add a little bit of spice to the deck, and you don't want to necessarily concentrate so hard. Like, basically what you want to do with the other faction is just run your Evos and maybe add, a couple of cards. Because, like, my deck that I'm running right now, or I've kind of been playing with, is mainly Pyrus. But then I use Chaos and Darkest cards to spice it up to just add a few hate cards to the lineup to say, okay, I want to boost myself once in a while, but I'd also like to, run Black Hole and stop the game in its tracks, and everybody's get screwed over.
Right. My kind of opinion on it, if they do decide to throw it in, if anything like they do, I think it should be very... Well, let me.
I know. I saw something in there that excited me.
Let it be more of a gimmick for a specific Bakugan, like it was in the original series, or a series of Bakugan. Pretty sure there was more than just Pyrus, but not Pyrus, Preyas. But kind of keep it more of a gimmick or something like that if they do want to do it. Otherwise, stay away. And then what you got excited for?
Ultra Blaze in there was like, hey, you remember the Bakugan video games? I'm like, oh yeah. The first one taught you how to play the game and added some spicy stuff you couldn't do in real life. And then the other ones were like big battle, like big monsters destroying the world kind of shit. Poop.
Yeah, I don't remember the games. Never played them. They never intrigued me enough to play them. I was more of a, I want to play them physically. So I have the actual Bakugan, have the actual cards and so forth.
It's a good way to like market the toys to people. Say, hey, this is what you can have, and this is what you can do. And it is much easier to actually roll onto the cards. If you really want to see us in pain, check out our Bakugan playlist and check out one of our check out the battle on our channel of us playing the original Bakugan and missing. But there is a pretty funny moment with one of the Bakugan. Well, Dalton should know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny.
It was like sentience at its finest.
So, in the words of the great Jacob Jones in our meeting that we had earlier, there's a lot of new people here.
Yes.
In a sense, not typical people. As in typical Buzz Squad people. So I just want to say, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more Bakugan content, and hit the bell to get the notifications, though. And Darien, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just a little bit, like very little. No, don't go crazy, just a little bit.
Like, what do you want to know? My social security information?
Yes, please. Tell everyone your social security number, please.
What do you want from me? What do you want to know? Do you want to know what I'm into, what I like?
Yeah, let's go with that. We'll just go with that.
I like video.
3 things at least.
Okay. I like video game technology.
Okay.
Legal waifus are great. I like them. I collect waifus. And if you like Senran Kagura, you'll know what I mean when I say life in hometown.
Cool. Ultra Blaze, they was never going to be Jacob Daltoniers because my name will never come after Jacob's.
Nor would he want his name like fused with his.
That too. Where was I gonna go? Not me. 3 things I like. Football. Kind of a sports junkie. So I'll say sports to be more general with it. Food. And card games. Just a little bit to know us by. I know it's harsh. It's a joke. It's the running joke. It's the running joke. I gotta keep the joke alive. But please make sure to subscribe. Hit the bell to get them notifications. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord. We have a channel for Bakugan, if that's all you're really here for, so we can keep talking Bakugan. And so we can update you when we're releasing a video or doing a live stream on Bakugan. Pretty lit stuff there. Ultra Blaze wants to know your favorite video game.
This one's really hard because it changes all the time. Which one's in my first slot? Like, it could be Donkey Kong on Game Boy, Tomb Raider from 2013, Senran Kagura series, Forza. It's too hard. I can't.
All right, that's good enough. That's good enough.
When can we talk about waifus?
You guys.
Come to the Discord.
Come
to the Discord. Come to the Discord, Ultra Blaze, and ask me to my face. Ping me. I am at Crom, and then I have something about waifus and Bakugan. But come to the Discord and ask me these questions. Keep the, ask me this there, and then I'll try. Yeah. We're trying to.
So we're running out, making this go far longer than it needs to be.
Yeah.
So above all else, stay classy, y'all.
Thanks for listening to TCG Buzz. New episodes can be found on tcgbuzz.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. For box openings, deck profiles, and more, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.